not y'all attributing Target's year over year trashy numbers as to things like empty cart corrals. I guess until you do right by black women will you see anything get better. But even then, I don't even think you can get this shit out of the toilet, because let's not forget how you all thought because daddy was home you could just treat black women like used Kleenex. And those black creators that had their shit on the shelves or whatever, and you just kind of brushed their asses aside and thought y'all were going to do so quietly, and then nobody would notice, and then y'all could just go ahead about life, and thinking that y'all would still get our money and our attention and our time. Until you do right by us. But even then, I don't even think there's anything that you could do that could bring black women back into that store. But here we are, more than 6 months into the boycott, and shit's not getting any better, because even Cornell is looking at not renegotiating his contract at the end of this year, which means he's gonna go ahead and sit it on at the house and let somebody else come here and try to fix this bullshit. Because again, but analysts are saying that it's they're not feeling their retail basics is what's happening. So y'all just gonna make the shit worse. Now, we got this article from Fortune, who obviously, tried to give the credit to black clergy when, like I said, black women started this shit in January. They signed on later. Put some respect on our work. Now, you have people like analyst Walter Holbrook, whose resume includes Kmart for 28 years. Where they at? Says that they are struggling with the basics after he visits his local Jacksonville, Florida store on Sundays after church, of course. And says that, there's no carts, and he's taking pictures and whatnot. Now, he's saying that this is troublesome for the average customer, because if they can't go in there and have a cart to put their purchases in, then that's just going to be an inconvenience, and they're just not going to shop. And he was like, it's the fundamentals is what they're lacking as to why they can't turn this around. Imagine going to church every Sunday and still out here lying. Go ahead and give black women their credit, baby. It's all right. Nobody will fault you for it. But he was like, the carts need to be refilled on a Sunday afternoon, and if you don't know that, you're in the wrong business. Baby, don't nobody give a damn about them cards. Because trust me, if we want to be in them stores, we'll go find us a card. We do it at every other store. Is it an inconvenience? Yes, but we don't mind that. He said on 4th of July weekend, though, Neil Sanders was another one who spoke of empty shelves and understocked ones, saying they are missing the basics, saying they will fall flat if they can't get this right. Baby, they already flat. But here's the thing. When you don't have, metrics that are being met, you can't pay people either. And then here's the other thing. When you are treating people kind of funny, people also don't want to go in there and fill out applications and whatnot. But I mean, what do we know? Now, on August the 10th, 40% of their employees did a survey and said that they are really uncertain about Target's future. Now, you have this other man that, has provided some data or whatever, Ethan Chernosky of Placer, who said Target's strength used to be the purification of retail between luxury and value. And he was like, basically, you get a little bit of luxury, a little bit of value, whatever. And I was like, okay, we can rock with that a little bit. Saying that, for example, I'll spend more on a toy at Disney for my child, and, I'll save money on socks at Target. But see, that's where you fucked up, because we already know we're not going to Target to save any damn money. That was never the goal of going to Target. You want to save money, you go to Walmart. Target, you already know you're going to spend a little bit more, but it's just a little bit less rigmarole. That's just what it is. Now, he said that, you got a good customer service experience. That was kind of hit or miss, but yeah, your experience was a lot better than if you went somewhere else. But it's been lacking because of labor, and he thinks that those are fixable issues. Basically, he's vying for Cornell's job is what I think. But baby, go on in there. Go on right on in there and see what you can do. And see if you don't get shown the same shit that you are being shown, that they are being shown right now. Black women were the trend. And y'all thought by putting those little black hands in the scan, because that was probably, Shirley that worked in accounting somewhere, that y'all was just like, hey, can you come and do this for us real quick? And she was just like, okay. And y'all gave her probably a little bonus or something, probably a little Target gift card. But anyways, that didn't bring us back in there. Then y'all thought that y'all could get Michaela in one of those little ads with the little cute t-shirt and whatnot, and then that thought was gonna bring us back in there, and we just didn't come back in there for that neither. Then I don't know what the hell y'all thinking, getting Kai Cenat and all them in there. Like, baby, read the fucking room. Remember the Montgomery boycott for the buses? And that took like probably about a year and some change. Looks like we're right on target.
Like and subscribe to Mom's channel.